guys, it's Rachel here. So for my next video, I am going to touch on something that I get asked an awful lot on Instagram, and that is how do I find the motivation to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do my training? Now I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I hardly ever jump out of bed and go, yes, a bike ride, or yes, let's go get in the pool, especially at this time of year. So what I've done is I've pulled together sort of 5 tips or kind of things that I think are important for getting out of bed early in the morning and actually having a good training session and then following on a good day at work and fitting it all in. So early morning training sessions for me actually begin the night before. So every evening without fail, even if I'm not training the next day, before I go to bed I will have prepped all my food for the next day, my training stuff for the next day, including if I've got a session after work, my work stuff, and then basically all I do in the next day is get out of bed when my alarm goes off, come downstairs, grab my coat, probably make a coffee and grab some food, grab my stuff, put it all in the car, and then I head off to David Lloyd where I'll do my first training session of the day. If I didn't do all of this in the morning, what would actually happen is I'd have to get up even earlier than 6 o'clock, which would start eating into my 8 hours of sleep. And what I have found, if you're not getting your sleep, accumulation of tiredness just builds up during the week. So I just make sure it's all ready the night before, so literally in the morning, I just have to get out of bed. So the next thing I'm going to mention is pre-session fueling. Now there's lots of different competing advice around pre-session fueling. However, I find, especially if I'm doing a hard session, having something before I work out is crucial to having enough energy to finish the session. So I tend to have a breakfast bar and a coffee on my way to David Lloyd before I do anything, and it's kind of great because it's a 15-minute drive away. It's got time to sort of go down a bit before I start. So every time I will have a snack and a coffee. Then when I get to work, I have my porridge and my protein powder, which I mix with banana and have my porridge once I get to work. So it's quite easy for me in that sense that pre-fueling and then post-fueling are all sorted, which are really important. So the next thing I'm going to mention is actually your choice of session that you do in the morning. So I find really hard sessions especially hard to do before work because my body isn't woken up and I'm quite tired. So if I have a zone 2 steady state run or cycle or swim to do, I tend to pick that one to do as my session before work. Mentally it's not too tough, and also if you haven't got loads of energy you can always just keep your legs ticking over. So yeah, in other words, find something that makes you want to get up. So one other thing I'll mention with me, if I have a swim to do, I always do that in the morning, as for some reason I struggle to do swims after work. I just don't have the motivation, whereas in the morning I'm in the pool and I get it done. Likewise, if I've got a run, I tend to leave that until lunch or after work because I don't like running first thing in the morning. So it's all about finding out what's best for you and sticking to it. And it might take you a while to find out what works well for you. It might be that you go to the gym before work, but you've just got to trial and error, find out what works best and stick with it. So the next thing I'm going to touch on is sleep. Now this might seem like the most obvious thing in the world, but a lot of people I speak to go, oh, you got up at 6, you're really lucky, I got up at 4:30. And then I ask them what time they went to bed and they'll be like, oh, midnight. So they'll have had 4.5 hours sleep. I always try to get to bed by 10 if I'm getting up at 6 because sleep is a massively important thing with it, especially with the level of training I'm doing, and I always aim for 8 hours a night. At the weekend it might be a bit different and I might go to bed later, but I also know that I can lay in a bit longer. So sleep is absolutely crucial. So the final thing on my list is an alarm. Now hands up if you've ever snoozed your alarm. We all do it, but I can assure you the more times you snooze it, the less likely you are to get up in the morning. I've recently bought a new alarm clock off of Amazon. It's a lock off of the Lumi one, which basically half an hour before I set my alarm starts to turn on, and basically it naturally wakes you up. And one morning in the winter I literally just rolled over and I thought it was sunny outside, and it turns out it was just my lamp. And it also makes quite relaxing noises, so it gradually wakes me up. So I actually sort of wake up feeling refreshed rather than like, oh my goodness, what's that racket? So my recommendation is really set an alarm, and when it goes off, get up. Another idea I had is all of us have our favourite workout tunes. So why not set one of your favourite workout tunes as your alarm in the morning? Because you're actually more likely to wake up sort of motivated and pumped to get out and get into the gym. Great idea. Okay, Okay, so to recap, number 1, plan and pack the night before. Number 2, plan your nutrition. Number 3, choose your sessions wisely. Number 4, get enough sleep. And number 5 is set your alarm and don't snooze it.